Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding is provided by a grant from Absolute Care of Westfield, committed to returning the favor to those who spent a lifetime caring for others. Absolute Care is located at 26 Cass Street in Westfield. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
How dramatic. What a day here we have in Chautauqua. Just a little drizzle coming down to water the grapes and all the wonderful flowers and the foliage and the trees and the fields and the streams. Oh, what a place to live. In the summer, this is certainly heaven. And also in the winter, because if you get in your snowmobile and take off and ride around the hills, it's just glorious majesty. Of course, there's wonderful hunting in the summer. You can now, incidentally, and I want to thank among others, Andy Goodell, you can now use a rifle in Chautauqua County. We're about the only county you couldn't use a rifle, and you had to use those inaccurate old slugs on the shotguns. As long as you're south of Route 20, that's where the line runs, and you can get out there and shoot your deer with Old Faithful, your rifle now. So hey, that's a move upward. I think we'll probably bag a few more deer here in Chautauqua County. And Lord knows we need to. There's plenty of deer around. And the insurance companies press the state, more deer hunting seasons, longer seasons, get a doe season forever. They want the deer shot because they cause so many accidents. You know, it's an old saying, thought that the most dangerous animal to man kills more people than any other animal, the deer, right here in the United States. So, go for it, guys. Get out there with your 30-30 and your 30-40 Crags and your Thunder Sticks and go to work. Let's get some deer. Pack that freezer up with some good venison. Now, incidentally, I want to say hello to Gordon Boyce. Gordon Boyce is a handyman in Westfield who does a service for small repairs and contracting and stuff, and he is just terrific. He came over and did my eaves for me, and lickety-split, he had them done in a fraction of the time I thought it would take, and his charge was so low, I said, I got to pay you more. The time you put in. So Gordon Boyce, if you need somebody in Westfield for minor repairs, I would highly recommend him. And this is not an ad for him, but it's rare to find a handyman that's very conscientious, does a great job, and charges very little for his work. I want to say we're going to have Marianne Spanos on. Dr. Spanos will be here to talk about the Office for the Aging here in Mayville and some of the new cuts where Congress has basically balanced their budget theoretically by throwing the seniors right under the bus. The rich not touching a penny of their no tax. The average billionaire pays 12.5%. You pay about 35%. Depending on, because you have your Social Security, another 15%, and your Medicare, the fee that you pay, and of course you have your tax, it's 20, and then it goes to 35. You pay almost 40%. The average billionaire pays 12%. Is that something? And most of them have said, I can afford the difference. If you've got a $20 million, you get a $10 million income or something, they could afford a little more. But Congress, oh no, we're going to not touch the rich and powerful's money. Of course, you know, Congress is of the rich, for the rich, and by the rich. Everybody there is now rich, just about. And you know who they take care of. They're not going to take care of you and me. The wars go on. Of course, that's transferring more money that we haven't even got. We're borrowing it from our grandchildren now to the munitions makers who are making a real pile on the war. Unfortunately, we've lost them, a lot of kids, and I don't think they're giving us any idea really how many. You know, already this year we've lost 3 of our wonderful young lads to these wars in Afghanistan. Can you imagine this? It's the longest war in our history, incidentally. Longer than the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II, any other wars we've had. Yeah, it's raging on now for 10 years and going on and on. We're going to be down in Long Island on the 10-year anniversary of 7/11. Yeah, I'm taking my gang over. We're taking a little cruise over to Bermuda for rest and relaxation, and we're leaving the 11th. We're leaving on 9/11, September 11th. President's going to be there. Everybody in the world is going to be down there, so it's going to be a madhouse. My daughter said, "What if they decide to do something bad?" I said, "Look, we'll be out in our boat." Okay, lots of things happening around the world. Last night S&P decided to reduce our rating, our national rating. They said, China did it in the morning. They said the United States their rating is going to go down, their credit rating, and the S&P followed suit, and of course the White House and all the financial people involved in the White House, oh, it's crazy, it's a mistake. All right. After that debacle about raising the debt limit, gee whiz. All right, enough going on. I said New York State is plugging along, doing our best. We've lost so much population. I think we lost more population in a half a dozen states in the United States in the last census. Last 10 years, people are running out of New York because of our crazy taxes and the regulations. I mean, oh my gosh, you can't turn around without it being tied up in red tape. We got to fix that. And let's get after Andy Goodell, who's in our assembly, and Kathy Young, who is our senator, and even call Higgins and tell him you want something done about this craziness. All right, enough said. We're moving on. I've got some wonderful news. The senior crowd, and where's Marianne? Is she here yet? Okay, she'll be here in a minute, I'm sure. Mayville has a great group. You know, we broadcast out of Mayville. We're in the county seat here. And the old school behind the, up on Academy, just near the courthouse, is our location. And we have the most fabulous studio we've ever seen. You've never seen a bigger, sweeter, more modern studio than we have here, thanks to Chuck Kelsey and Devin Taylor for the most part. And it's just gorgeous. And when we do a show out of here, we're always on the air live on Saturday morning, 9 to 10. So don't forget, you can call in anytime you want. If you have a message, you want to wish somebody happy birthday, you want to plug one of your organizations, this is your magic carpet to the universe. Just call it in. There's a number, 753-JACK, like jack your phone in. Okay, so the media, they have a beautiful crowd over there in Mayville, and I want to say hi to Emerson Chandler. He's my neighbor up in a little cabin I have in the hills. And everybody brings, like most senior groups, a casserole or dish to pass, whatever, and everybody sits down and has a nice dinner together, and then they play bingo after the meeting. And the meetings are short and sweet, believe me. It's just mostly the companionship and the getting together. So if you don't belong to a senior group, go ahead and join one. They have the most wonderful senior groups right here in Chautauqua County. And every town has one. They meet in the VFW down at the foot of the hill in Mayville. And it's just a wonderful place. They have a huge pavilion, barbecue, big kitchen, meeting room. Thank you, VFW, and our other groups that help out our seniors. Silver Creek, I wanted to mention them. They have their own clubhouse on Route 20 and Route 5. And they have a wonderful hot dog roast, usually regularly there. And Irene Connie is their chaplain, and she's just done a wonderful job. Been the president there forever and ever and ever. Now Ed Newman took over. And if you're in the Silver Creek area, you know, most of the senior groups will take people from crosstown and other towns. If you want to join, as a matter of life, in fact, many seniors live right next door to another township, and so they could just cross the street, and they may be in another town, rather than having to go miles and miles in their own town to the senior center. And most senior centers, incidentally, have a dinner program, so we're just fortunate. We're blessed up here in Chautauqua County. Although they are nipping back a little bit on that, don't forget, August 12th, the big day, from 10 to 2 p.m., there's going to be officially 10 to 2, but it'll last a little longer. There's going to be the big deal, the senior picnic over in Midway Park. And it's a gorgeous park still, and I want to thank the governor, I can't remember which governor it was, but it was very recent, that they took over the park, because it could have been just a bunch of condos. Now it's still the same park, the same rides. The kiddies go over there and just have a ball, and you can get, for a very reasonable price, you can get a season pass there for the kids, so you can take them over every other day if you feel like it. And they have the little train that goes around, and they have the merry-go-round. They have all these wonderful, wonderful rides for the kids, and many other happy things. They still have the fortune teller, if you remember. It's in the museum. They moved it in for safekeeping. And the games, remember the skee ball everywhere? Those games are still a quarter. They were a quarter when I was a kid. Inflation hasn't caught on. Sheridan Happy's, you know, they deliver lunches. They do the Meals on Wheels things over there and pack them and take care of them, the Sheridan crowd. And it's just a wonderful gift to their community. Get involved if you want to. They meet at St. Bosco Hall, and there's a mystery bus trip coming up again. The last one I found out finally was a nice trip down to the ice cream factory or whatever. Having a big party July. Oh, I guess that's over pretty much. Pioneers, they have the Pioneers Club. Well, that sounds normal. It's up in Forestville. And Forestville is a wild and woolly, beautiful little village, way, 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 way up on the hill, and so nice. It's just it's a part. It's like going to heaven when you go over to Forestville. It's so sweet. And Sinclairville has a good bunch. As I said, they deliver lunch. I can't believe. All right, they tell me the time is up. Mary Ann is here, and we are ready to roll. And we're going to have a guy here that you love who's going to make a few salty comments, I assume. And he shoots from the hip, incidentally. His name is Doc, and we have another Doc coming in. And there's a third Doc here, you don't know. Okay, let's go. We got a public service announcement, and then we'll have Doc Hamels. Okay, there we go. Here we are. Doc Hamels, you're on, John.
Thank you. I'm never quite sure what that introduction means because I don't own a gun, but we'll have to come up with a different sound, like a slingshot maybe or something. Good morning, Mary Ann. Good morning, every morning, Reed. Reed's been talking a lot about the natural resources in our county and all the activities that are going on. There's so much going on in this county right now. It's really a lot of fun, especially in the summertime. Last night, Bill and I, my partner in music, we had an opportunity to play up in Dunkirk at 21 East. I don't know if you folks have ever been up there. It's a little cafe, but it specializes